Hey guys, I'm Jafar here and welcome back to the channel. Really good to see your smiling faces once more. Today we're talking about Moody photos. What are Moody photos, you ask me? I'm pretty sure you have come across those photos on Instagram or different social media platforms that are kind of dark, faded, or the subject is isolated. Those are called Moody photos. And today I'll show you how to create those kind of photos with couple editing techniques using Adobe Lightroom. So let's just dive into Adobe Lightroom and see how it's been done. I'm going to open the Lightroom up and I have selected 3 photos to go over with you. This one is a photo shoot I had at night in a parking garage. The other one is a sunset photo shoot that I had with a buddy of mine. I'm going to link everyone's Instagram down below. This was for 4th of July, and a photo shoot I had with Mel that if you already seen the vlog on Friday, you've already met her. Alright, let's open up these photos one by one and edit them to get that moody feeling that we're trying to get. Let's open this up first and go to develop tab. By the way, if you're wondering how I imported these photos into Lightroom and what all these tabs for everything you see on the screen mean, make sure to watch my basics of Lightroom tutorial that I'm gonna have up in the corner, and I'm gonna link down below, and go watch that first, then come watch these. I'm gonna wait. No, I'm not gonna wait. Let's just get on with the tutorial. So now I am in a develop mode and I can start editing these photos. Let's just get rid of this camera information here. So if you look at this photo, first thing first, I'm gonna go ahead and crop it to what I want, and then when I'm happy with the crop, I want to post this on Instagram, I crop it to Instagram size. And what I always do is to edit my profile corrections so it gives me the final results and final look to the photo. So then let's go back up and start with the basic. Let me just drag this out so you can see better. So as you can see, this photo already has a kind of a dark look to it, and I'm just gonna keep it. I don't want to like change exposure or anything. All I need to do to get that faded look, to play with my blacks, contrast, and the tone curve. Let me just show you what I mean. So here I'll bring down my contrast by, I would say, 10. So I type -10. And then I'll bring my blacks down just a little bit more, maybe another 10 down. And now let me just do a before and after. If you can see, there's just a tiny bit, but after we get to the tone curve, you'll see the huge difference in the tone curve. So let me tell you what these sections on the point curve means. If you go to the main one, it tells you there is, if I hover over it, there's lights here, highlights. If you can see in the bottom here, there's highlights, lights, darks, and shadows. So let's go back here. All I need to do is bring down the shadows just a tiny bit, and then go to the left just a tiny bit, bring up my lights just a tiny bit. Here is good, and then bring down my highlights. You can see if I move it, it change. And then go ahead, since you have brought that one down, let's go ahead and give it some more shadows like that, and then bring it just back just a tiny bit until it looks good. And you always want to have that midsection right in the middle. Maybe I'll bring this dark just a tiny bit more to where it should be, right there, and there we have it. We have a flattened, faded, moody photo. Let's just do it before and after. If you can see, it's faded and it looks moody to me. What I also like to do, and it's my preference, is to bring down the vibrance just a little bit, like -5, and give it a little dehaze, just like +1, and then come here in the blue channel, take it up just a tiny bit to get that kind of blue filter. And since we're changing the blues in the shadow area, it gives it this nice kind of blue shadow. And then we come down here in the split toning. I always do this one right here, set color to this point, which is yellow, and then the highlights are yellow, and then the shadows, I'll give it this blue, and then I'll go back and bring the saturation down to where I feel it's good. And that photo right there to me looks really good. Let's just do it before and after. Before, after. There you go, that's one photo. Let's jump into the next photo. So in this photo, you can clearly see the highlights being blown out on the sky section, and there's a lot of shadows in the foreground section. So let's just do the crop first for Instagram, and then I need to bring it to the middle just a tiny bit, and that looks good. Let's go ahead and bring the shadows up just a tiny bit, and then bring the highlights down just a tiny bit. We don't need to really edit the photos, but just for the sake of showing you how that technique has been done to an edited photo, I'm showing you this now. I'll bring the contrast down again, -10. That looks good. And then bring the shadow just a tiny bit more, maybe -75 or -80. And then give it that 20. Bring the blacks down, maybe 5. And then just 5 clarity. Right, now let's go and have fun with the tone curve. Since this photo is a little bit darker, I would bring up the darks just a tiny bit, and then to my shadows, I want to flatten the shadow. So if I bring this up right there, it just flattens the shadow, and then if I bring it to the right, it gives it a little bit darkness. Let's bring it down just a little bit and then closer. That looks good. You don't want to really give it some highlights because it's already blown out in the highlights. Just bring the highlights just down, lights just down a tiny bit, and then bring the highlights down, and then give it that midsection. Let's look at before and after. Before, after. Just a little bit of edit and it already looks good. Imagine if you really get into it and edit the whole thing, how it's gonna look. Split toning, I give it yellow for the highlights and blue for the shadows. Since it's already pretty yellow up here, I'm gonna bring down the saturation, and it's pretty blue down here. I'll bring down the saturation for the shadows just to have just a hint, just a tiny bit. Before and after, and that looks good to me. And let's go to the last photo, which is a photo I took from Mel in my car. Again, I'm gonna link everyone's Instagram down below. Make sure to go give them a follow and let them know that you're coming from my channel. Let's jump into this photo. I believe this is an easy photo to edit to. What I want to do to this one is, since it's already a little dark, I like to bring the shadows up a little, just a tiny bit. So it doesn't do a lot of stuff, but just a tiny bit. And then bring the highlights down because I don't like this area. And then just crop it for Instagram or however you want to crop it. And it looks good. Bring the blacks down to -10 again. If you go too much, it's not gonna look good. So bring the blacks down to -10. Add some whites this time, maybe +5, +5, and then give it like 1 or 2 clarity. I'll bring the vibrance down to -10, I believe. And before and after, it's just a hint, a tiny bit, it's not too much. Then we're gonna go have fun with the tone curves again. I'm gonna bring the darks down this one, and then go to the shadow section and take it up and to the right there, and then bring up the lights and bring down the highlights and give it that midsection. Gonna go to the blues again and bring up the blues just a little bit and go to the right. It becomes yellow, if you can see here. And then go down. I would like to remove some blues from my saturation. Just bring the blues down a little bit, and then highlights yellow and give it the shadows blue. It's too blue. I'll bring the saturation down just a tiny bit, maybe 2 is enough, and then bring that down. And this looks faded and moody. So that's how we can create moody photos using Adobe Lightroom. Thank you for watching again, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I will have a giveaway coming up this Friday, and the only way to enter the giveaway is to drop a comment down below. I have already explained how to enter and what the giveaway is going to be in the vlog I had last Friday. Make sure to check it out. It's going to come in the corner any seconds. It's going to be a white banner, says a lot of like title, big title. So make sure to check that out and enter that giveaway. I don't have many subscribers, so there is a big chance that you might be the lucky winner. And with that all being said, this video is officially over, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Don't forget to comment down below. You'll be the lucky winner. Who knows? No one knows. Who knows? No one knows.